I think the market is oversaturated with bottles that cost $100+. I also think consumers are moving into that mindset that they want to hunt and purchase bottles in that price range of $35 to $70 to try and find max value for a bottle. So I'm going to go over like a top 5 of what I think has really good value for bourbon and whiskey. Now I am going to be looking for the best bang for your buck stuff, but also they're kind of what I personally like to drink and I think are well worth the dollars I spend on it. So let's go ahead and start off with number 1, and that is going to be the Green River Foolproof. Now this bottle is going to be a blend of 5 to 7 year age. The one in particular in my hand is 118.1 proof, and the mash bill is going to consist of 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. Now this one in particular is a really good go-to bottle. It gives me all the vibes of like a high proof thin mint cookie. The reason why I say that is it does have like a little bit of the chocolate note, and it also has a little bit of that fresh mint note on there that is just really out of this world. That's why I like this bottle so much. Now MSRP on this bottle is $50, give or take a couple bucks. You can find it at Total Wine. I believe I picked this one up for like $47.99, somewhere around that from Total Wine. And to me, to get a foolproof bourbon at $50 is kind of hard to beat that. You can pretty much find these bottles almost everywhere nowadays. I haven't had anybody tell me, oh, I can't find Green River Foolproof unless it's been sold out for some reason. So I think that definitely brings the value, kind of one of those best bang for your buck type bottles. So I do think it is a highly recommendable one. Next up is going to be the New Rift 8-year age bourbon. This is their non-chilled filter version. The mash bill is 65% corn, 30% rye, and 5% malted barley, and has to be at least 8-year age. Now, obviously, this one is slightly higher price-wise, coming in around $65 to $68. This one, though, is obviously 100 proof, but it is damn good. New Riff is one of those up-and-coming brands to me, where the longer they've been in business, the higher age stuff that they're putting out. I believe just like as I'm filming this, they just released like a new Silver Grove that's like a 10-year age, which is now like part of their staple lineup, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I didn't do research on that part yet. But that just means New Rift is coming out with new stuff. But this bottle in particular, when I want something around 100 proof, this has been one of my go-to ones. It makes a great old fashioned. It's amazing neat. Now you can get the rye version, 8-year rye. To me, that one didn't give me as much bang for your buck wise because it did cost more than like a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. So it'd be lower proof, more money. That's why that one's not up here. But if you're more of a rye person, that one could also lean that way as well. But for me, this one just kind of had to make the list for as much as I go to this bottle. So another one of those ones towards the higher price point of the list, but a damn good bottle. Next up is going to be Barrel Foundation's Double Barrel, which is basically their double oak. Now this is going to be at least a 5-year age, plus it's 100 proof. Now to me, this one's trying to compete with the likes of like Woodford's Double Oak or Peerless Double Oak. And to me, this one kind of feels like a little bit higher value than a lot of the other ones. Now, I don't think anybody can knock Woodford's Double Oaks. Don't let me think I'm going there. But they're about the same price. This is coming in on average around $55. I did get lucky and I was able to find this on sale somehow for almost $35. I don't know if they made a mistake. I don't know what happened, but I'll gladly pick this bottle up for $35. But I also think I have to preference with if I run out of this bottle and find it again around that $50 to $55 price point, I will be picking this one up again. It is fantastic. The 100 proof really does bring it through. It's kind of that very similar taste profile as Woodford's Double Oak with a lot of caramel, a little hint of chocolate, vanilla, a little bit of extra spice than the Woodford's though. That's why it's on the list. Now, Grant, this has so much in it that I have to pull out the phone because I can't remember all this off the top of my head. This blend components for this one is going to be an 8-year Kentucky bourbon, a 5, 6, and 9-year-old Indiana bourbon, Tennessee 8-year-old, and a Maryland 5 and 6-year-old. The mash bill on this is going to be 73% corn, 23% rye, and 4% malted barley. To me, it's one of those bottles where if you're a fan of double oaks, if you like the Woodfords or if you like Peerless, I feel like this bottle fits perfectly in between those. Woodfords you can find right around $50 to $45 depending on where you're at. Peerless's price point's so off the wall that you can find it for $75 or you can find it for $175. But kind of right in that sweet spot is this one. That's why this one's making the list for best value, because it has a little bit extra proof, a little bit extra age. To me, it's a solid double oak, and I don't say that lightly because I'm a big fan of double oaks. So let's go ahead and get into the next one. Now this one's going to be the Penelope Weeded. This one's coming in on the lower end of the price scale, typically ranging between 30 and 35 bucks. It is obviously kind of hit or miss for some people. Some people don't like Penelope. Some people love Penelope. I kind of fall in the middle ground there. But for a $35 weeded bottle, 95 proof, it's kind of hard to pass on something like that, especially if you're a big fan of weeded bourbon. Now this one does have an age range between 4 and 6 years, and the mash bill is going to consist of 74% corn, 7% rye, 16% wheat, and 3% malted barley. Now this one does deliver everything you're kind of hoping from a lower priced weeded bourbon. It's got a little bit of that corn and wheat forward. It's still got a little bit of sweetness in there from like a little bit of caramel and vanilla, but it also has a nice little orange note in there that I don't typically see a lot. But it's a fantastic bottle, especially for the price. So I think if you're kind of looking to step into a weeded bourbon, this might be the first step. Now, obviously it's making the scale just because 35 bucks for weeded is that's unseen, right? Most of the time they range between like 50 to 70 bucks. I think this one is one of the more better value ones when it comes to weeded bourbons. All right, last up is going to be double actions here. We got a bourbon and a rye. This is going to be Still Austin's cask strength rye and cask strength bourbon. I think these two are some of the best bang for buck bottles you can possibly get, right? When it comes to the bourbon especially, it is fantastic. It is also part of that like craft distillery style, right? Texas, obviously they got lower age, but the lower age stuff from them packs a lot of flavor because of that Texas heat. Now the bourbon is coming in right at 116 proof, and that's the same thing for the rye. Now for me, I love Still Austin, big fan of them as well, but the bottles typically are ranging around 50 bucks for their cask strength. Some places have it for like 55 to 60, some places have it for just 50. But when you look at their kind of, flagship lineup of just the normal like 90-ish proof bottles for these two, they're only like $5 to $7 more for the cask strength versions. That's why I like these so much more, is you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You don't have to pick and choose saying, hey, do I want to buy their regular flagship and spend only 45 bucks, or I want to spend $5 more and get cask strength. Obviously the default, if anybody's into bourbon or whiskey in general, you're going to go with the cask strength. And I think to have a cask strength bourbon around 50 bucks, again, is a really high value. The only thing that you don't get with this is kind of age, but I think it makes up for it because it is in that Texas heat. So I put both of these up here because I think they're fantastic, right? I think price range, fantastic. Flavor-wise, fantastic. Now the mash bill on the bourbons can be 70% white corn, 25% rye, 5% malted barley, but it's also all Texas grown grains, which is really fun to say, right? It's all from Texas. To me, that kind of just puts it towards the top. The bourbon is my go-to. The rye is great, but like if I had to choose one of these, going with the bourbon, but I am definitely more of a bourbon guy rather than a rye guy. So you guys be the judge. Now, I do want to go over a couple honorable mentions. To me, the list I gave you has definitely got a great list of best bang for your buck type bottles. But there's some I don't have, and I can't really speak on it. But from the word on the street, Discords, online, different reviews from different people, the Old Fitz 7-year is apparently a really great value bourbon. It's also one of those ones that eventually should be a shelfer. So when that does hit the shelves more consistently, I definitely think that's going to be something people are going to be picking up. Along with the Old Granddad 7-year age, which is a little bit newer. We don't know exactly what that shelf space is going to look like. I hear it's going to be a limited run each year type of thing, but that's all, hearsay. So when more information comes about on that one, I will obviously break it down and let you know. But again, I have not tried those two. Now, I touched on this part a little bit towards the beginning when we started talking about the ryes. I think the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye is a really great best bang for your buck style rye. Now, I didn't add it into this list per se because it is ranging around 75 bucks, which was towards the topper of that lineup. And people don't like me saying that I think bottles above like $5 are any good. So this bottle in particular is 134.5 proof. you can kind of wait, check different stores, and you can get slightly higher. The proof ranges kind of range anywhere from like 120 to like almost hazmat. So for $70, this is my go-to rye at this point. You can see it's basically gone. I got to get another one. So this one is definitely an honorable mentions as well. So there you have it. That is kind of like a good list of some really great value bourbons, whiskeys, and ryes. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think they're great value? Do you think they will cost way too much money and I'm personally crazy? Or do you have something else better that's better value that you think I should go try and maybe make the list? Again, I can make a bigger list. I can make a best whatever. 5's usually a good number because who wants to go look for more than 5 bottles at a time? So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side. Peace. Cool.